And one of the big questions people ask around the world is, are we alone in the universe? Walter Cronkite asked that question on CBS Reports in 1996.
CBS Reports, UFO. Friend, foe, or fantasy?
Good evening. Reports of flying saucers are nothing new. From the beginning of recorded time, men have been seeing unexplainable things in the sky. And there's no reason to doubt they saw something. The question is, was what they saw really there? And what was it they really saw?
Brad Meltzer investigates mysteries and conspiracy theories like the infamous Area 51. For his History Channel series Decoded, he's put together 10 of the greatest conspiracies of all time. For his new book, History Decoded, Brad, good morning to you.
Good morning.
So let's start with Area 51.
Yeah, listen, you have Walter Cronkite,
Yes.
one of the greatest news people of all time, talking about it. This is not someone who is, blinking a lot in a cornfield. And to me, that's what's important. We always look at those people who we put out there.
Don't blink a lot in the cornfield?
That's right. But you know who saw a UFO? Ronald Reagan.
Yes.
You know who else? Jimmy Carter. Right? You have to stop at a moment. And what we wanted to do in the book is not just tell you the stories, but give you the evidence. So what we do in the book, and I'll pull it out, is you get to actually see the real evidence. This is how the book works. It's actually important to see. Each chapter has its own secret compartment, and you pull out. This is actually the redacted first press release that the government had, and you can examine it. You can read it for yourself, and you can see what did this person see when they said that they saw an unidentified flying object. And that, to me, is the amazing part, is the American people get to look and say, oh my gosh, what really did happen that day? And it's an amazing story.
These people don't say they saw unidentified flying objects. They basically say, I saw something I didn't know what it was.
That's what an unidentified flying object is, right? We've turned
They didn't mean a spaceship. They didn't say
right,
spaceship.
Right. They see something that they can't explain.
Right, exactly.
At one point, it was like a weather balloon.
Right,
My
they say it's a
favorite
weather
one
balloon.
is that D.B. Cooper story.
Yeah, the
because
D.B. Cooper
I thought
one.
you found such compelling evidence there.
Right, so that's the number. So that's the number
I now
7
think
one we
I
did.
believe I know who D.B. Cooper is.
And D.B. Cooper is the
Yes.
the only American skyjacking that's unsolved, the perfect crime. He says he's going to hijack a plane. He wants $200,000 and 4 parachutes. He jumps out the back and disappears.
You've named him. You think it's an inside job?
And we think it's an inside job by a guy on Northwest Airlines. We have people in the FBI who gave us this information. When you go in the book for that chapter, and I know, Gail, you and I talked about this, we actually give you, and you get to see
But we don't have time for that.
Right,
though, Brad.
you get to
have
see D.B.
through
Cooper's
the
bank
story.
accounts. Yeah, you get to see his bank account.
Because the point is, he had a different lifestyle before the hijacking and a different lifestyle after.
And suddenly has $100,000 in his bank account.
Can we talk about the Lincoln assassination? Because John Wilkes Booth's family actually contacted you, right?
They did. This is really the start of where the book came from. Is years ago, John Wilkes Booth family, who shot Abraham Lincoln, they reached out to me through their lawyer, and they said, John Wilkes Booth was supposedly died 12 days after he shot Abraham Lincoln. But you know what? He didn't die. He's not the one in the coffin. And would you like to hear our story?
And you said, sure.
I want to hear that story,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So we put in the book, you can pull out the actual letter that John Wilkes Booth wrote. And you get to see the wanted poster. You examine the evidence. And, for me, it was really about my father-in-law because he was tired of getting ties for Christmas. And I said, I'm going to give him a book that he can actually read, enjoy, pull out, examine, and you get to see the evidence.
But it's two men, John Boyd, their names are similar. They said they sort of looked alike.
And John B. Wilkes was his other identity. And if you're picking a fake identity and your name is John Wilkes Booth and your secret identity is John, W. Boyd, you're really bad at picking secret identities, right? You need a better alias. But the amazing part of the story is we actually found the will that he wrote. And when you pull it out of the book, you see it's not signed. And then you say, wait a minute, this story can't be true. But the 91-year-old woman who came to us and said it's a true story, I asked her, why are you telling this story now? And she said, you know what, I'm going to die soon. And I want the truth about Abraham Lincoln's death to be known by everyone.
And you said, how can you tell when somebody's telling the truth when it's a deathbed confession?
Well, that's the thing. When you have a deathbed confession, it's the one thing I always say. No one lies on the deathbed. We may lie all the other times. No one lies on their deathbed.
Well, you've given your father-in-law something to do at Christmas rather than tie.
Yeah.
Thank you, Brad. Thank you. History Decoded goes on sale on Tuesday.